Welcome everybody to Bitcoin Amsterdam 2023 again. With Steph and Connect the World, we're asking questions to a lot of speakers here. And today it's time for THNDR Games, Jack Everitt and Desiree Dickerson. We had you both on the show earlier. It was
now in person
a year ago. And you were on stage today.
Yes, I was.
Yeah,
yes,
and you were telling something very interesting, and we have prepared some questions about a new product that you're releasing.
Yes, do you want me to tell you about it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Clinch is it called, right?
Yes, it is called Clinch. So if folks are familiar, obviously competitive style gameplay is really popular, especially when you kind of add some type of reward, specifically money. But there's tons of friction that's associated with, the way in which you can pay out, especially for game developers. So what we've actually created is a totally non-custodial, peer-to-peer, instantaneous wagering API on the Bitcoin Lightning Network. And it's really incredible. I will stop there. I don't want to take all of the limelight, but Jack, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, I think the way that I would describe it is you see the Lightning apps that come out, and they all have a wallet on them, whereas Clinch doesn't have a wallet. You don't need a wallet because all the payments happen in between the players on the app. So that's the key difference. Is it's like a walletless Lightning app.
So everybody who's in just goes from a player to player directly.
Yes. Imagine like you just have a match in a game, and two players can wager some sats. So what happens is they both pay each other's invoice. The payment goes through our node and gets stuck. Oh, not stuck, but we pause it because we know the context of the payment. We can pause them both, and then when the match finishes, we can cancel one payment and just let the other payment go through. And because it's just like routing a Lightning payment, it's like non-custodial in the same way the whole Lightning network is, because essentially it's just two Lightning payments, but we just know what to do when they reach.
So it's basically a contract that isn't settled.
Yeah.
It's just waiting to settle as long as you guys know when to settle, and then it pays out, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Cool.
And it means we don't have to deposit. No funds need to be deposited. People can, they don't need to be KYC'd because it's just the Lightning payment.
Yeah.
So it should be open to everyone.
Hey, Desiree, how do you see Clinch revolutionizing the 95 billion online gambling market? Because you guys, the API is not only from within THNDR Games, right? It's just an API that everyone can implement, basically.
Yes, exactly. I really see this as changing the way that the entire online gambling industry works. Obviously we're starting specifically with competitive gaming because that's a smaller industry and the contract style is right. But instead of users having to go to a platform or a website and having to deposit money and then making wagers, the users can just go play the match and the funds are deposited directly from their wallet. I mentioned earlier today that if you're familiar, stake.com is one of the largest online casinos. They do crypto gambling, they do sports betting, and Drake is actually a spokesperson for them. So that's the level to which they kind of operate. And just last month they lost $41.3 million worth of customer funds that were sitting on their hot wallet, and they had a vulnerability, right? And so all those users lost the funds. We will never have that problem.
No.
And then for businesses who are using our API and want to offer this type of competitive gameplay to their users, they're never going to have to lose customer funds because they don't touch them, right?
No.
It's just happening instantaneously over the Lightning Network, which I think is really, really powerful.
Oh, great.
I think it also has the possibility to get non-Bitcoiners, of course, using Clinch and getting in touch with these possibilities. How do you attract traditional gamers to transition and try wagering Bitcoin for the first time? Because that's I find it personally very interesting that we're touching it and never used it before.
I've got a good answer for it because our CTO spelled it out really clearly why he loves Clinch, and it's because he lives in Poland and online gambling is illegal, and even if he deposited Bitcoin onto stake.com or whatever, when he wants to withdraw, he has to do KYC, and they say, no, you're from Poland, you can't get your money out. So he was like, oh, well, now I can just VPN into Clinch and I can do all the gambling I want because no one's ever going to stop me because it's direct with
it's peer-to-peer, so there's no middleman, so no one can hold the funds, basically, right?
So that's where there's like a little chink in the armor where we can try and get non-Bitcoiners, because we can say, like, use it, you can actually do it, because you're not going to get blocked.
No. And Jack, how does Clinch empower game developers and businesses to monetize on a global scale? Because especially given the shifting landscape of App Store and development policies.
So the Clinch business model is wagering, so two players having a match and one of them winning money. And how we make money is with a fee. So because the payment goes through our node, we take a fee for that routing. And we charge a slightly larger fee because it's a more complicated route. So game developers can also follow this model where they charge a fee, or they can just use our API and they get commission from it for every payment. So they don't have to actually integrate any matchmaking, any payments architecture. All they need to do is just be able to show a QR code to pay the invoice, and then they can just put it in the game, and it's actually a better business model for a lot of games because wagering business model is more profitable, so you don't need to show ads all the time. So it can, if someone's got a really good game, they can monetize it in a better way.
And the concept of being able to wager as little as 1 Satoshis is, of course, groundbreaking. How do you believe this feature will influence user engagement and adoption, especially in regions with lower purchasing power?
I think it's really powerful if you look at most of the games out there today who offer wagering as a style of gameplay. The buy-ins just to get started are incredibly high. So you're talking, the lowest I've seen is $5. On average, I would say the ones that I've played are about 20.
That's a lot.
It's untenable, right? For the majority of the world, which, for our users, we have tons of users in Latin America, tons of Filipino users. So it's like to offer something where they cannot afford to even get started is insane. So this really lowers the barrier to entry in terms of like financial stake that you have in the game. But then on the flip side, similar to what Jack was saying, is that this is an incredible tool for games developers as well. Because of the restrictions of fiat, most people who offer this type of gameplay are restricted by their operational regions. So, someone who's operating in the US can't even offer the service to most of the places across the globe. No. So with Clinch, game developers can reach a global market, and therefore they can better monetize their games, which I think is really powerful.
I've got a little anecdote actually as well that's interesting. So in the Philippines, they can't participate, not only because the amounts of $5 are too much, but they literally just have cash. So they can't actually do it. No. So for them to get on board, for them to use digital money, they have to go to like a corner shop, I can't remember what they're called, and they swap the cash into onto their digital wallet. And like that whole process is just like not Bitcoin enabled yet, and so they can just bypass all of those steps. So I think that's a good way because there's just less friction in those
frictionless
countries.
Indeed.
Shout out to Pouch for all the work they've
PH. Yeah. I don't know, is he here? No, right?
I don't think so. I don't think he's here.
No. Hey, could you shed some light on the select partners currently testing the early API access? What feedback did you get?
So far, the feedback has just been different use cases, because what we've found is actually the technology we're applying in wagering is the most complicated use case. Some people have like actually more simpler use cases where they just want to know if a payment's gone through, so they can just show something on their website. So a lot of people see it's like the imagination is just going crazy, where people are like, whoa, I could actually do something different than just wagering.
And how can, because I figure out that a lot of developers want to get in to try to help. How can they get involved integrating it into their own existing applications?
So right now, it is still very, very early. You know, we always want to ship something.
It's just announced, man.
Yeah.
Come on, that
Come
was.
on, you have everything in place, right?
But you know, we are actively working with partners right now.
Yeah.
So if folks are interested, they can visit clinch.gg. I believe there's api.clinch.gg. You can sign up, and then we'll have your email and reach out, or you can just literally DM us directly, and we're
awesome.
happy to work with people right away.
And if listeners to the show just want to try out Clinch, is there a special invitation or process they are aware
Because
of?
we've seen the wait list, of course, but perhaps today is the end of the wait list, and we can just try it out.
I think we can offer listeners.
Yeah, of course they can have it.
Yes. So if folks go to clinch.gg, you can use the password, which is, you can use the password Amsterdam. There's a couple different passwords, but Amsterdam will get you access and you can get playing. Right now, when you play, you can only really match with friends, so you have to send the match to a friend. We have a ton of people in our Telegram and Discord, which is also linked on the site, where people can come in. In the next week or so, we will be launching like a bespoke matchmaking. So if you come and you play, you can play. You'll be matched up with anyone in the world.
Cool.
But yeah, people can get started that way.
Okay, we will try it out.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, thanks again, both of you.
Yeah, thanks.
And, enjoy your stay in Amsterdam, of course. And if nobody has tried it out, Tetro Styles, it's addictive. So play it, check it out on THNDR Games.
Thanks. See you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.